Okay, so afternoon all. Welcome to this session wherein I will be discussing the intricacies of survey. So this session will not be just one singular session. We will have series of 5 or 6 sessions throughout this month wherein I will discuss the intricacies of the chapters which I feel are important in this year's survey. Okay. Any difficulty that you have, any flags you want to raise, you can raise me in the meeting. You can post it on the group or you can contact me. I will give you my contact number also. But make sure that before your prelims, rather in the month of February only, your survey and your budget are done analyzing, your survey and budget are done holistically memorizing, and they are done interlinking. I'm again repeating 3 things: analyzing, summarizing, slash remembering, and interlinking. These 3 parameters are very important before you go into the March cycle phase of your preparation. Okay, so I'm now turning on my iPad sharing. Please give me a virtual or chat feedback that you can see it properly.
Perfectly clear, sir.
It's visible.
Is it visible to everyone?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. Is the font size good for everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So most of you must be wondering that why I have opened up the preface of economic survey to you. Okay. So you remember in school times we used to see who has written this book, who has contributed to this book. Okay. So abhi aapko after 11th and 12th you must have forgot to read the preface of any book. But mind you, the preface of survey is very, very important. Okay. You can use this preface in your essays. You can use this preface of survey in your. Please, who is marking on this? Sahil? Please don't mark it on. Okay, just I will turn on the security settings. Okay, yeah, I have turned it off. Don't worry now, it won't happen. So preface is very important because in preface you get the theme of the survey, you get how the survey is going to put forward the data and how you can interlink with it. So before I begin, 2 or 3 things I will like to say about survey. See, survey is a kind of a policy document. Okay, policy document in the sense that government will give you plans. Okay, government will give you plans and government will give you empirical data. Government will give you empirical data. Okay, empirical data. These two of both of what government intends to do, of what government intends to do in the coming financial year, in the coming financial year. Okay, and what data you have got from the previous year, So these 2 or 3 things, the survey will help you in analyzing that. It's a policy-based document wherein you will have data on which the government has worked in the previous year and what is the future focus of government in the coming year. And this will be very important for what? This will be very important for deciding the theme of your mains paper. I'm again reiterating, the theme of your mains paper is decided from survey. Mains paper theme, okay, is decided from your survey. Okay, I will highlight how this is done. So always remember why reading of survey is important, because you will get a hang as to how your mains paper are being formulated. Formulated means what is the impetus of government. UPSC civil services is an evolutionary examination. It's not a constant examination. Okay, every year you will have questions which are framed on different parameters, which are framed on different themes, which are framed on different issues. And what are those themes? What are those parameters? Those themes and those parameters are those parameters and themes which government is putting impetus on, in which government is putting more focus on. So if any one of you has read this year's budget, so in this year's budget, you have 3 things or 3 parameters wherein government is putting more impetus. And that is where I shared one article on the group per se, on the PDFs, wherein Prime Minister Modi ji, he said that the coming era will be focusing on 3 parameters, will be focusing on climate justice. Second will be women development. And number 3rd will be human-centric globalization. So your mains paper, and I would rather dare say around 50% of your prelims paper will be somehow correlated with this. I'm repeating those 3 things. Number 1, you will have climate justice. Number two, you will have women-centric development issues. And number third, you will have human-centric globalization. Human-centric globalization in the sense that you are putting humans first and you are not putting economies first. And that is what you will see in this year's budget and this year's survey. And rather, the preface of survey highlights the same again. So I'm discussing with the discussion of preface. Keep your pen and pencil ready and mark whatever I'm marking on the screen. So before I move ahead, those video speed are on. Is everything good? Give me thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay, chalo. So see the preface. The economic survey 2022-2023 comes with global uncertainties. Comes when global uncertainties are rife. Okay, so this is a very important thing that we still have global uncertainties left. Barely the pandemic receded, the war in Ukraine broke out. Prices of food, fuel, and fertilizer rose sharply. As inflation rates accelerated, central banks of advanced countries scrambled to respond with monetary policy tightening. So you have tier money policy and you have dear money policy. So right now we are in the phase of tier money policy, not dear money policy. And that is what you will see in this year's budget. In this year's budget, government has gone for policy tightening. Majority of the sectors, government has tightened. The budgetary outlay has decreased. Only or two or three sectors has the government moved ahead. And number one sector in which this year's budget government has moved is, of course, agricultural credit. Number two is provision for education sector. And and number third, it's very, very important, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. If you have read this year's budget, I will have a session on that. So this year, staggering 66% increase is there in the allotment for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, that is affordable housing for all. You all know that this government has set up a theme, Amrit Kal. So we are in the first year of Amrit Kal, 25 years, first year when we are, and you all know that majority of India lives in the rural hinterland. And as we urbanize more and more people, as we introduce them to mainstream economy, you will require affordable housing, and that is what government is focusing now in this coming 2 or 3 years. So this year you have 66% increase in the allocation for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and the allocation is staggering. It is 68,000 crore rupees. It's not 68, it is rather 78,000 crore rupees from 48,000 crore rupees. So 66% se बढ़ाया गया hai. That is a very, very important step which this government has taken. And rest of the sectors, they have been completely strapped out of money. And the most affected sector is, of course, the fertilizer sector. In fertilizer sector, government has reduced the subsidies the most. Okay. So please remember that this year we do not have a dear money policy, we have a tier money policy. Government will not go beyond certain capacities. Government has only gone for capital expenditure in infrastructure. It has gone for capital expenditure in, rather I will say, urban infrastructure primarily, and not in the rural infrastructure that much. Okay. So many developing countries, particularly in South Asian region, faced severe economic stress as the combination of weaker currencies, higher import prices, the rising cost of living, and strong dollar, making debt servicing more expensive, proved too much to handle. So what are the global headwinds? See, this line is very important. These are the global headwinds. Okay, so mark this line in your survey as global headwinds. Okay, from this, you can have a question in your mains, or you can have a essay-based question. Okay, like what are the global challenges for Indian economy? What are the global economic challenges? What is the global economic outlay as of today? So you have weaker currencies, you have higher import prices, you have rising cost of living, you have a strong dollar, and making debt servicing more expensive. Means आपकी जो debt है, that debt is compounding, as is happening in Sri Lanka, as is happening in our neighbor Pakistan. Is everybody comfortable with this? Nagmami and Aarti, are you all comfortable? Yeah? Is my pace good? Guys, rest of you, I guess there are around 30 participants. Please keep on speaking with me. Okay, the more you speak with me, the more I will give you the data. Shall I move ahead? Okay, yeah. Then, in the second half of 2022, There was a respite for governments and households. Commodity prices peaked and then declined. In the near term, the acute pressure was relieved, although the prices of some commodities, example crude oil, remained well above their pre-pandemic levels. For countries dependent on imports, priced and payable in dollars, a global slowdown led by US offers a triple relief. Commodity prices decline and the US interest rates peak, as does the dollar. Capital and current account imbalances abate. So this is very, very important that as of today, capital, your CAD and both capital account deficit and current account deficit, both of them are now negating one another. So this is the theme of this year's budget, and hence we are having a fiscal deficit of around 6.9%. If you have read this year's budget, तो इस साल का जो fiscal deficit है हमारा वो around 6.9 है, ये बहुत ज्यादा है. According to FRBM Act, it must be less than 3.5. But we are now more than 6, we are close to 7%. ये किस वजह से है? Because हमारा capital and current account deficit almost अभी balance कर रहा है एक मेक को. Hence हम लोग थोड़ा सा हमारा fiscal deficit बढ़ा रहे हैं, and hence हम लोग capital expenditure थोड़ा ज्यादा खर्चा कर रहे हैं for प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना. Guys, is everybody following? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So then now directly jump to paragraph number 3. India had a good monsoon. Reservoir levels are higher than those were in the last year in a 10-year average. The fundamentals of economy are sound as it enters Amritkal, the 25 years journey towards its centenary as modern independent nation. Policies pursued carefully and consciously have ensured that the recovery is robust and sustainable. This is in context in which the economic survey undertakes the assessment of economy in the present in the light of recent past and examines its prospects in the coming years. So economic survey आपको basically क्या दे रहा है? It is taking an assessment of economy in the present in the light of recent past, and it is giving you prospects for coming years. Okay, so this is very important. This is how an economic survey is formulated. Okay, so always remember this. Okay, after that, directly go to last paragraph of page 3. In a departure from past, we have introduced a chapter on India's social sector next, followed by a chapter on climate change and environment, and not without reason. Social welfare is very important, is not an afterthought in governments, but it's statement of the comprehensive and leave no behind approach that government has adopted for social welfare gets full treatment in this chapter. The chapter highlights how we use the technology, enhance quality of life for citizens, and ensure the social sector schemes intend to bet the beneficiaries, especially during the pandemic. The transformation of lives in the citizen happening through aspirational districts program, direct benefits transfer, use of Aadhaar, and various initiatives in education, health, basic infrastructure availability are highlights of this chapter. So if you carefully see this, I'm again reiterating, I'm deliberately taking up this first. See, the transformation in the lives of citizens happening through the aspirational districts program. Number 2, direct benefits transfer, use of Aadhaar, and various initiatives in education and health and basic infrastructure availability are highlights of this chapter. So if you see this, this is the syllabus of your GS paper 3. This is the primary syllabus of your GS paper 3. Okay. Plus agriculture. Okay. So if you can correlate that wherein the government will have impetus in this year for your GS paper 3 per se. So aspirational districts program, DBT, direct benefits transfer, use of Aadhaars and various initiatives in education, health, and basic infrastructure availability. So please remember that any question that will revolve around GS paper 3 will come from this theme primarily. Is everybody comfortable with this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes,
Is my tone proper? Am I going too slow or is my tone good? Okay. Okay. Sure.
Yes, sir.
So now directly go to page number 217 of your survey, chapter number 7. Directly go to page number 217 of your survey. I'm beginning with the discussion of chapter number 7. Climate change and environment. Is everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from last 3 years, rather from last 4 years, the name of this chapter was chapter number 8 per se. It was climate change and sustainable development. Okay. Please focus on me. Don't look in the survey. When I'm speaking, just look towards me, guys. So from last 3-4 years, the name of this chapter was climate change and sustainable development. This year, the government has changed the name. The name of the chapter is climate change and environment. Okay. Why environment? Because this year we had United Nations CBD, Convention on Biodiversity. It was COP15, which was held in Canada. And in COP15, it was highlighted that world is facing the sixth mast extinction event as of today. So up till now, we had 5 mast extinction events. So right now, we are all living in the sixth mast extinction event. Hence, the name of the chapter has been changed from climate change and sustainable development to climate change and environment. So the survey itself is saying that you need to heavily prepare environment this year because in prelims and mains, you will have major focus on environment per se. So अभी से मैं आपको क्लियर कट बता रहा हूं आई विल रिपीट इन हिंदी एंड आई विल आल्सो रिपीट इन इंग्लिश फर्स्ट आई एम रिपीटिंग इन हिंदी अभी से मैं आप सभी को पहले से बता के रख रहा हूं गवर्नमेंट का बहुत ज्यादा फोकस है एनवायरमेंट एंड इकोलॉजी पे सर्वे एंड बजट बोथ ऑफ देम हैव हाइलाइटेड दिस इस बार के बजट में एक अलग स्कीम लिया गई है मंगरूज प्रोटेक्शन के लिए द नेम ऑफ द स्कीम इज मिष्टी देखो एग्जाम में जाओगे तो मिष्टी दही मार्क करके आओगे मिष्टी दही नहीं है मिष्टी मंगरूज के रिलेटेड एक स्कीम है ओके जो गवर्नमेंट ने इस साल लाई है तो बजट में भी स्कीम है एंड सर्वे में भी एनवायरमेंट के रिलेटेड बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स है सो प्लीज प्रिपेयर योर एनवायरमेंट एंड इकोलॉजी प्रॉपरली ये ऐसे क्वेश्चंस है जो हर कोई बराबर छुड़ाएगा अगर आप वो गलत छुड़ा के आओगे यू विल बी लूजिंग योर मार्क्स I'm again reiterating, guys. Environment and ecology are going to be very pivotal for your preparation in this year's prelims as well as mains. Please prepare it very, very properly. Okay. Preparing to face the future. Preparing to face the future. So, are we living in the era of climate change? Yes, we are living in the era of climate change. Is mitigation necessary? Yes, of course, mitigation is necessary. Is adaptation necessary? Yes, of course, adaptation is necessary. Why? Because climate change already हो चुका है तो हमें अगर फ्यूचर को फेस करना है तो वी हैव टू फोकस ऑन एडेप्टेशन and we have to also focus on mitigation. Both. Mitigation means you are reducing the severity. Adaptation means you are already adapting to the changing conditions. So हमें severity भी reduce करनी है and plus we have to adapt with it also. So ये chapter की जो theme रहेगी, it will be primarily focused on environment, it will be focused on mitigation, and it will be focused on adaptation. Is everybody comfortable with this? Yeah. So read the preface first. Climate change is primarily attributed to disproportionately high cumulative emissions, both historical and high per capita annual emissions of greenhouse gases of the developed countries. The global problem makes India one of the most vulnerable regions, despite contributed to only 4% in cumulative global emissions for the period 1850 to 2019. Okay, so the peak of industrial revolution in around 1850 till 2019, हम लोगों ने कितना contribute किया है? Only 4%. So that's peanuts. Okay. And maintaining its per capita emission at far less than world average. While India is less responsible for high stock of emissions, however, it is constantly engaged in demonstrating global leadership towards adopting various measures and ensuring a low emission growth pathway with a commitment of net zero goal by 2070. Okay. So this chapter, this preface reeks of climate justice. जो आपको बोला था जो गवर्नमेंट की इस साल की थीम रहेगी पूरे साल भर की G20 प्रेसिडेंसी की भी क्लाइमेट जस्टिस चाहिए हमें सी वी आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर लेस देन 5% ऑफ एमिशंस एंड आप हमें लेक्चर दे रहे हो आप हमें बोल रहे हो कि आप एग्रीकल्चर को सस्टेनेबल बनाओ आप ऐसा मत करो आप वैसा मत करो आप होते कौन हमें बोलने वाले ओके यू फर्स्ट सी योर हाउसेस एंड देन ब्लेम अस ठीक है तो क्लाइमेट जस्टिस बहुत की आर्गुमेंट रहेगा ओके सेकंड पैराग्राफ यू कैन स्किप दिस यू डोंट नीड टू रीड दिस ओके इसको स्किप कर दो देन गो टू थर्ड पैराग्राफ India has already achieved its target of 40% installed electric capacity from non-fossil fuels ahead of 2030. It has advanced the target to 50%, which shall also translate to a significant reduction in average emission rate. The National Hydrogen Mission and the National Green Hydrogen Policy have been introduced to enable India to be energy independent by 2047. We will be completely energy independent. See, this is very important line. Okay. हमें एनर्जी डिपेंडेंट नहीं, हमें एनर्जी इंडिपेंडेंट बनना है. Okay, we should not depend on the imports of crude oil from Russia. We should not depend upon the shale oil gas imports from USA. We have to become energy independent. Its pivotal role is reflected in India's long-term low emissions development strategy, LT-READS. This is very, very important. Okay, I will discuss this in detail, but this is very, very important. Okay, for climate financing, government has issued sovereign green bond. So we will discuss in the chapter what are sovereign green bonds, and you have International Capital Market Association Green Bond Principles of 2021. So ये दो issues we'll be discussing in finance. We'll be discussing in finance. Okay. So please remember that the theme of this chapter will reek of climate justice. We will speak about the development targets of India and we will see how climate financing is done. ठीक है, so ये तीन चीजें बहुत अच्छे से ध्यान में रखना है चैप्टर में. So I'm beginning with the first leg of the chapter wherein we'll discuss what? Climate justice. Is everybody comfortable with this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now, in your survey, from 7.2 till 7.17. I'm again reiterating, in your survey from 7.2 till 7.17. I'm again reiterating, from 7.2 till 7.17. Okay. From 7.2 till 7.17. Okay. You can mark this as challenges. You can mark this as challenges to or for climate justice. Challenges to or for climate justice. What challenges India will face for ensuring a climate justice-based equity dimension? Okay. Survey से आपको ये समझेगा, from survey you will understand, you will come to know how you can write answers in mains. So from 7.2 till 7.17, you can rename those as challenges to or for climate justice. Is everybody appreciating? Yeah. Now, in paragraph number 7.2, you just have to remember one line which I have edited in yellow. For instance, it is estimated that by 2030, about 700 million people worldwide will be at the risk of displacement by drought alone. Okay, ये line remember करना and use this data in your answers. Okay, so please remember this line. Okay, so I'm beginning with the discussion of challenges per se. So the first challenge is that science is not very clear on whether further emission reduction would necessarily guarantee a stoppage or reversal of global warming. Okay. What this means to say that we up till now we don't have any accurate data. We have only speculations wherein we can speculate that if we reduce emission targets, so जो इतना global warming हमने अभी तक कर रखा है, how much of global warming we have done up till now, whether it can be reversed or whether it can be negated. So we don't know. Why? The share of developing countries in the stock of greenhouse gas emissions has been minimal compared to developed countries. This is collaborated by Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which highlights the challenges faced due to global warming are mainly due to cumulative historical and current greenhouse emissions of developed countries. Guys, this is very important. जितना भी global warming अभी आप देख रहे हैं वो किसके वजह से है? It is because of cumulative historical and current greenhouse emissions of the developed economies. The impact of accumulation would be iniquitous, with the developing countries not only bearing the brunt of climate change, but also constrained by the capacity to respond to its challenges. इसका मतलब क्या है? That the developing countries are not equipped. The developing countries are not equipped for adoption. neither they are equipped for mitigation. Neither they are equipped for mitigation. The developing countries are not equipped. They are not in a position to go for adaptation and for mitigation. Okay. Now, focus on me for a moment. Focus on me for a moment, everyone. Okay. Those who are not responding, can you all hear and see me properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So see, a person living in USA, he wants to buy a 5 crore rupees Lamborghini. Okay, so if you're buying a 5 crore rupees Lamborghini, or if you're buying a 5 crore rupees Rolls Royce, how much average that vehicle is going to give you? Very less. You are going to invest more in your fossil fuels. You will burn fossil fuels more. Because of that, who is suffering? A poor farmer in Uttar Pradesh, a poor farmer in Maharashtra, a poor farmer in Kerala. Is poor farmer polluting? Who is polluting today as of today? A person who is trying to have a very high energy intensive lifestyle in the west coast or on the east coast of US. Are the poor farmers in India responsible for that? No. Now you tell me, if a poor farmer's house is set on fire, or if a poor farmer's house is being washed away by floods, or if a poor farmer is facing droughts, versus a person who is living in California, a person who is living in USA, who is a billionaire, who is having crores and crores of rupees with him, who will be better equipped to deal with climate change, the poor farmer or the rich person? But naturally, the poor farmer will not be equipped to deal with the climate change. Is everybody concurring with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, see, this is the main debate in climate change. This debate is called as CBDR, common but differentiated responsibility. Responsibility हमारी है, हम बोल नहीं रहे कि हमारी responsibility है. We are not saying that it's not our responsibility, that we won't fight for reducing climate change, but responsibility of the global west is more. Why? Because number one, the impact of because number one, the cumulative historical emissions of the global west are more. And number two, the developing countries, they are not well equipped to deal with what? They are not equipped to deal with the brunt of climate change. जो भी climate change होगा, जैसे पाकिस्तान में भी पिछले साल floods आए, was Pakistan better equipped to deal with floods? No. And does Pakistan have capacity to deal with its challenges? No. So हमारे पास उतना पैसा नहीं है. Neither we can have a monetary policy, neither we can have a bond like this or savings like this in the future, which will increase our capacity to deal with climate change. Why? Because हमारा majority of the savings किस में जाएगा? हमारा majority of the expenditure किस में जाएगा? First, we have to bring in the people from rural hinterland to urban infrastructure. So हम लोग उस पे focus ज़्यादा करेंगे as compared to climate change. Is everybody appreciating this? So these two issues are very, very important. Okay. So please remember this. Okay. Why climate justice is pivotal for India? Because neither we have the capacity to prevent it, neither we have capacity to bear the brunt of it. In short, हमारे पास adaptation and mitigation दोनों के लिए हमारी capacities क्या है? कम है. Okay. Next. Ironically, the burden of adaptation is highest for those who have contributed the least to global warming. That unfortunately inevitably means that the stock of GHGs in the atmosphere may already set a trend of events that future emission reduction would do very little to stop or reverse it. अभी हम लोग कितना भी कोशिश कर ले, right now whatever we do, it has already set the trend of events wherein future climate change is inevitable. The problem is that the people and the nations making this argument have their priorities correct for themselves, but not for the countries yet to climb the ladder of prosperity. See, this line is very important, but not for the countries yet to climb the ladder of prosperity. USA is saying that world needs to do something for fighting climate change. Canada is saying world needs to do something to fight for climate change. Germany is saying, France is saying. But their majority of the people are living in urban spaces. Their development is peaked. they are living in the highest physical quality of life. In India, are majority of you, including me, are we living in the utmost highest quality of physical quality of life? No. आपका घर, मेरा घर, including this space, we are all living in constrained spaces. हमारे पास बड़े बड़े घर नहीं है. हमारे aspirations है. We are having aspirations that in the future we should aspire for a big house, that we should aspire for 24 hours electricity, we should aspire for 24 hours of good potable water. We have aspirations that we should have big urban spaces, we should have big entertainment spaces. ये हमारी खाली अभी तक aspirations है. So how can you force climate change on us? That is the key issue. So the global west is maintaining their argument that the priorities है ऐसा है वैसा है, but they are not considering those countries who are yet to climb the ladder of prosperity. It is all about aspirations. Okay, it is an enduring principle of economics that the resource have competing uses and that there are always trade-offs. Okay, हमेशा इसमें trade-off रहेंगे. Okay, how much of the resource to devote for bread and butter developmental priorities and to adapting the already changing climate, and how much to dedicate to mitigating the emissions of GHG? This is the main debate of climate change. In your survey, please write down this as double asterisk कि main debate क्या है climate justice की. Please rename this point as the main debate of climate justice. What is the main debate? How much of resources to devote to bread and butter development priorities and to adapting to already climate change, and how much to dedicate to mitigating the emissions of GHGs. This is the main debate of climate justice. So any answer you have in mails, any essay that you have in your mails, you should always start with this line. Is everybody comfortable with this? Guys, please keep on speaking with me. I don't know, are you following this or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Is everybody comfortable कि बोर हो रहा है?
नहीं सर,
No,
ठीक
sir.
है. Good.
नो सर नो सर
No, sir, सही है.
Okay, सही है. चलो, थैंक यू. ठीक है. So ऐसे लाइंस आपको उठा के आपको मेंस में आपके एसेस में काम में आएंगी. So this is the main debate of climate justice. Please mark this line very properly. Okay. It is theoretically elegant to argue that switching to renewable or non-renewable energy would generate investments and jobs. Still, it seldom works out smoothly in practice. Why? Why? Because countries might find themselves not scrapping coal-fired plants, and that the alternatives may be held up either due to lack of technology, finance resources, skilled and human resources, or some combination of all three. Okay, this is a very, very important line. Please mark this line as challenges to shift to RES, non-renewable energy sources. Main challenges क्या है renewable energy पे shift होने के? Number first challenge is lack of technology. Number two, financial resources. Number three, skilled and trained human resources. These are the three challenges for shifting to renewable energy. Okay, हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है. दूसरा, we don't have financial resources, and number third, we don't have skilled and trained human resources. Hence this year in budget, government has heavily focused on skill and development. So you have revamping of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. It has been renamed as Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0. Okay, 4.0 symbolizes Industrial Revolution 4.0. इस साल के बजट में ये नई स्कीम गवर्नमेंट ने थोड़ा इसको इलेबोरेट करके किया है. क्यों? बिकॉज वी हैव टू मेक आवर लेबर स्किल्ड. अगर लेबर स्किल्ड नहीं रहेगा तो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी पे शिफ्ट होना बहुत बहुत मुश्किल हो. इज एवरीबॉडी कंफर्टेबल विद दिस? या
Yes, sir.
चलो, या देन डायरेक्टली जंप टू bullet number 7.11. Public finances in developed countries are stretched and do not seem to have the intent to mobilize adequate resources for climate action in developing countries. The willingness and the incentives alignment of the private sector to undertake long-term destination projects are questionable at best, non-existent at the worst. So you can name this point as challenges to finances. Challenges to finances for climate justice. Challenges to finances for climate justice. क्या challenges है? What are those challenges? Public finances in the developed countries are stretched. Okay. If you go to USA सबसे ज्यादा पैसा किस पे खर्चा करेगा? Defense manufacturing पे. You all seen Ukraine war. Who is funding the Ukraine war? USA. If USA stops funding Ukraine, can Ukraine win at any cost? No. Russia, one day, 2 day, Ukraine is over. So this is the hypocrisy of the global West. Okay, you take money from the taxpayers, you invest it in the war, you create a global instability. So public finances over there are stretched. They do not seem to mobilize to intend adequate resources for climate action in developing countries. And third, private sector is not willing to take up long-term gestation project. Because if you ask any private company that you please invest in a green project, you please invest in green growth. So for the green project, for the green growth to actually give you revenue, to actually capitalize for you, it requires certain amount of time. And private sector solely functions on profit. Is everybody comfortable with this? अगर profit नहीं है, तो private sector काम नहीं करेगा. So please rename 7.11 as challenges to finance for climate justice. Okay, and 7.22. Lastly, it does not seem or strange or responsible that developing countries must put their own growth and development aspirations ahead of their global climate obligations when one considers that developed countries set aside their obsessive concerns about climate change and global warming to burn more coal to generate electricity this year. आप हमें लेक्चर दे रहे हो, यू आर लेक्चरिंग अस दैट यू प्लीज रिड्यूस डिपेंडेंसी ऑन कोल फॉर थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स, बट you yourself are doing what? You yourself are burning more coal to produce electricity in the last year. So please don't lecture us. The behavior of European nations in 2022, eminently understandable, demonstrates the return of energy security as the prime requirement for countries. So any question on international relations? Any question on IR in GS2? Any question on energy security? Any question on economy, global economy in your GS paper 3 will be heavily concentrated on what? Energy security. ये ध्यान में रखना. तो एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी आपके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक बनता है इस साल फॉर योर मेंस एज वेल एज फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स. Please mark this topic very, very important. Comfortable, everybody? Yeah. Then 7.13, last line. Okay. You can name this as behavioral challenge. You can name this as behavioral challenge. Behavioral challenge. Okay. Why behavioral challenge? In general, the citizens in the developed countries express considerable reluctance to change their lifestyles and habits with respect to driving, flying, and eating that would contribute to reduced emissions. जो लोग अमेरिका में रहते हैं, जो लोग यूएस में रहते हैं, जो लोग यूरोप में रहते हैं, they are unwilling to change their lifestyles in sense of what? Driving, flying, and eating. Driving, majority of the greenhouse gas emissions, they come from the transport infrastructure. So driving, flying, you have short haul flights, 1 घंटे की flight, आधे घंटे की flight. So half hour flight, 45 minutes flights are not at all sustainable flights. And eating. Okay. I will all suggest you to read IPCC report on this. Okay. IPCC report on global dietary trends. ग्लोबल डाइटरी ट्रेंड्स. मैं आपको ये रिपोर्ट पढ़ने की एक सलाह दूंगा. आई विल एडवाइस यू टू रीड दिस रिपोर्ट बिकॉज 1/3 of global emissions come from food sector. 1/3 of global carbon emissions, they come from food sector. So I will urge you all, please read the IPCC report on global dietary trend. It's very important.
Okay, sir.
Okay, shall I move ahead, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo. So 7.14. Okay. Guys, I am not 100% confident. I am 200% confident. Okay. I am giving you my 200% confidence that you will have one question in mains and one question in prelims from this bullet. ठीक है, आप सबके पास मेरा नंबर है, आप सबके पास मेरा वीडियो फीड है. अगर ये क्वेश्चन नहीं आया प्रीलिम्स एंड मेंस में, तो आप जितने पैसे बोलोगे मैं आपको गूगल पे कर दूंगा. ठीक है, अभी से मैं आपको चलो 200 नहीं, मैं 2000% कर देता हूँ. आई एम गिविंग यू 2000% गारंटी. ओके, दिस बुलेट एंड देयर इज अ बॉक्स ऑफ क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स एंड रेयर अर्थ मिनरल्स, जिसमें से क्वेश्चन कंफर्म है या नहीं है. ओके. As though these challenges are not enough, many experts also warn about the availability of rare earth minerals and critical minerals to be the next geopolitical battleground, as the crude oil has been over for last 50 years. As we are aware, rare earth minerals and critical minerals are essential for generating renewable energy. The problem is that they are produced in few countries and they are processed even in fewer countries. जो आप हेडफोन्स यूज कर रहे हो, जो आप लैपटॉप यूज कर रहे हो, उसमें 3-4 टाइप के रेयर अर्थ मिनरल्स एंड क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स यूज होते हैं. तो आपके लैपटॉप की जो बैटरीज है, आपकी हेडफोन्स की जो बैटरीज है, मैं जो एयरपोर्ट्स यूज कर रहा हूँ, इसकी बैटरीज किससे बनती है? लिथियम आयन से. सो लिथियम इज अ रेयर अर्थ मिनरल. Which is a critical mineral in your electronic components? Copper. Why? Because copper conducts electricity. So copper बन जाता है आपका critical mineral. So दिक्कत क्या है? All of these are produced in few countries and they are processed even in fewer countries. तो ये बहुत important है. So what should be the future of energy security? What should be the future of energy strategy? A globally synchronized energy transition to non-fossil fuels might be difficult to pull off if adequate rare earth minerals and critical minerals are not available. That would leave the fossil fuel best asset stranded by many countries' economies. So हमें synchronized energy transition के लिए हमें बराबर पॉलिसी लगेगी. Will requiring a very good policy to switch to renewable energy resources. इसके regarding you have box over there, 7.2 box. I will discuss that. That box is very, very important. Is everybody comfortable with this? Okay. एक छोटा सा आपको एक बस for 1 minute or 2 minutes I will be diverting. You all know that USA left Afghanistan, है ना? तालिबान आ गया तो USA left कर गया. Which was the first visit to Afghanistan? Which country visited or which country called the Taliban delegation first? Can
China.
anybody tell me?
China.
China.
Why?
Minerals, sir. Minerals
Yeah.
and also two oligarch Muslims के साथ उनका.
Give me. Who is speaking with me? Can
This
I
is
know the name?
Nagmani, sir. Nagmani Chaubey.
Okay, Nagmani. Okay, can you be specific?
Sir, 2 points were mainly highlighted. Firstly, were oligarch Muslims that were causing problems and were getting
Okay.
funding from Taliban.
Okay.
Second was the rare earth minerals that are not exploited in Afghanistan.
So which is the region which is having rare earth minerals in Afghanistan?
Sir, I'm not remembering it, but yeah, there is.
Okay. So Nagmani, don't feel bad for whatever I'm trying to say now. ठीक है? You know the issue. Okay, you know the issue. So you are at 50% of qualification. If you know the core issue, then you will qualify this examination then and there itself. ठीक है? So कहाँ पे मिलते हैं आपको rare earth minerals in Afghanistan? That is very, very important. Okay, so there is a place called as Wakhan Corridor. Have you heard the name? Wakhan Corridor.
Yes, sir.
Pamir not.
Yes, sir.
Pamir Mountains and Hindu Kush Mountains का जहाँ पे confluence होता है, there is a place called as Wakhan
Yes,
Corridor.
sir. Lapis lazuli.
Yeah. So अफगानिस्तान का जो नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न पार्ट है, वहां पे आपको खैबर पख्तूनवा प्रोविंस मिलता है, पाकिस्तान का, अफगानिस्तान का. That is the region where you have lithium, beryllium, zirconium and zinc and also cobalt. Okay, I'm switching to maps. If you can see the maps, please tell me. Can you see the earth?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
चलो आपको मेरी फोटो दिख गई सौरभ. Okay. So can you see the maps? Please give me yes no everyone.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir. We are saying it.
Okay. Yeah. So see this is Kabul. Okay. So this is Gilgit over here. Can you see Gilgit over here on your screens? This is Gilgit. Okay, wait, I will take up a screenshot and I will mark that up. Okay. So this region of Afghanistan, this region, can you see this region which I've highlighted? Don't need to highlight in your maps. I'm just showcasing you for your reference. Okay, so this region is the Afghanistan which is sitting on the world's biggest resource of lithium. You have lithium, you have beryllium, you have zirconium, you have zinc, and you have cobalt. ठीक है, ये शील्ड रीजन है वर्ल्ड का, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट अनएक्सप्लोर्ड शील्ड रीजन्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. तो ये हमेशा ध्यान में रखना. चाइना ने सबसे पहले बुलाया तालिबान को बिकॉज चाइना नोज दैट द फ्यूचर ऑफ चाइना इज इलेक्ट्रिक. So you have to focus on this region primarily. Is everybody appreciating this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, मजा आ रहा है क्या?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
This
sir.
is how you should explore civil services. Okay, you will understand how democracies work per se. Okay, chalo. And then last point number 7.17. Hence, India is considered to be one of the most vulnerable countries given its long coastline. देखो ये बहुत important है. क्यों? Why India is vulnerable to climate change? If question comes, why India is vulnerable to climate change? Okay, why India is vulnerable to climate change the most? So 3 things. Number 1, long coastline. Number 2, monsoon dependent agriculture. हमारे आज के तारीख में जो देवता है वो अभी भी वरुण देवता ही है. आप कुछ भी कहो, whatever gods you worship in India, the sole god which you all should worship is Varun Devta, Indra Devta, because बारिश नहीं आएगी, monsoons नहीं आएंगे, so our agriculture will go in vain. And 60% of population is still engrossed in agriculture. Okay, and large agrarian economy are the leading examples of this. Okay, so the vulnerability of India is exacerbated due to 3 parameters: long coastline, monsoon dependent agriculture, and large agrarian economy. If I'm saying this in highly technical terms, so coastal zone regulation for India is must. Number 2, shifting to agriculture income diversification. We need to shift from agriculture dependent rural economy to agriculture independent rural economy. And number 3, our needs of water, our needs of groundwater exploitation, our needs of monsoon dependency should be done and dusted. So ये 3-4 चीजें आप प्लीज ध्यान में रखना. So has everybody understood the challenges for climate justice, the vulnerability of India, the main issues? किसी को कोई doubt है? I'm pausing for a movement. You can
Sir,
speak with me.
Excuse me, sir. Last point क्या था sir? Need of water diversification.
Okay, yeah. So the last point is like technical terms में why we need to go for monsoon independent economy. Why? Because majority of our agrarian economy is dependent on groundwater. ठीक है, हमारा जो ग्राउंड वाटर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन है वो अराउंड 68.9% है. ग्राउंड वाटर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन पोटेंशियल इट इज अराउंड 69%. तो जितनी बारिश आती है उसमें से 70% हम लोग यूज कर लेते हैं फॉर एग्रीकल्चर. दिस नीड्स टू बी डन अवे विथ. Is everybody comfortable? Shall I move on to the next leg of discussion? I'm pausing for 2 minutes. You can drink your water. You can discuss with me. आपको जो पूछना है आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हो.
So
those people, yeah.
सर ये क्लाइमेट चेंज में भी आ जाएगा ना सर कि CRZ is must मतलब large coastline जो है CRZ is must shifting to agriculture diversification. Yeah. Shift of agriculture independence in rural India and
coastal zone regulation is very important because if sea levels rise, So coastal communities will be
डूब जाएगा
impacted the most. डूब
अभी
जाएगा.
अदानी वाला हुआ है
Yeah.
सर वहीं पे
Yeah. Hence, government has come up with Mishti scheme, protection for mangroves. ठीक है. गवर्नमेंट देखो, गवर्नमेंट ना आपको बताती नहीं है
सर एक
वो
और
आपको
तो
ढूंढना पड़ता है.
एक और आया है ना सर ये जो था आपने दिया था सर वो श्रिम्स को उसके साथ मैंग्रोव्स में वहां पे करने के लिए सो दैट ट्रेडिशनल प्रोटेक्शन हो सके.
It is called as aquaculture.
Aquaculture, yes sir.
Okay. It is called as aqua agriculture. To be more specific, it is called as aqua agriculture. Okay. Anybody, I'm pausing for 2 minutes. Please speak with me. Are you all comfortable with this approach? Are you
Yes,
all
sir.
getting something from this session? It should
Yes,
not
sir.
be the thing that you are just attending here for time pass. I'm using this word time pass because आपके लिए time बहुत जरूरी है. And I don't intend to do time pass of yours at any cost. Okay. There are roughly 36 people. So guys, please keep on speaking with me.
So one question apart from the syllabus, do we have this same kind of discussion for budget as well?
We can arrange it. I will arrange it for you. Don't worry.
Okay,
Yes sir, budget is needed
I
sir
will.
because what I was thinking that you would be sharing the PDFs मतलब मार्क्ड वाला जो पेज आता है बजट का वो बट आपने किया नहीं.
See, the thing is, budget if I share, so I will have to share the entire budget with you. Okay. You are all civil servant aspirants. You are going to become bureaucrats. Okay. Bureaucrats then don't do rote memorization, they do analyzation. So आपका budget का analysis is important. What is the impetus of government? I told you impetus कहाँ पे government का. सबसे पहले you have climate change. Number 2, you have woman-centric development. And number 3, you have human-centric globalization. So human-centric globalization means will be requiring skilled laborers. So you have Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Number 2, you are having increased sector allocation for education. Number 3, you have women-centric development, wherein you are having increased availability for agriculture credit. To what? To rural development banks. नबार्ड के लिए ज्यादा पैसा मिलेगा आपको. So women self-help groups को पैसा ज्यादा मिलेगा. So budget has to be discussed, has to be analyzed like this. वो खाली PDF पढ़ के कुछ नहीं होगा. Okay, so I will take up a session on that. Don't worry. And I will try to incorporate maximum budget in the discussion of survey only. So you don't have to do anything budget separately.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody, anything else? Please let me know. Otherwise, I'll proceed with the discussions.
Sir, apart from this, sir, if anyone appearing for 2024,
will
it be helpful, sir?
Yeah, of course, this will be helpful because once you practice, you have mastery on economic survey and budget. Next year, आपको पढ़ने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. You can directly read the gist.
सर वन मोर क्वेश्चन लास्ट मीन्स में मैंने तो 2017 तक के इको सर्वे को मैंने कोट किया था. सो इट इज जस्टिफाइड सर क्योंकि मुझे काफी लोगों ने बोला था कि या 3-4 साल की इको सर्वे को तुम लेके चल सकते हो.
You all know.
Answer.
Please.
I'll answer. See, in our group, in this participant list, there is one IFS officer as well, Forest Service. Okay, so I won't mention the name. Okay, so he's attending this session because I told him that Pritesh sir is very excellent at analyzing all these things. So you do attend the session. This will help you for your mains as well because he'll be again attempting this year. So even he is in the session. So आप कितने भी साल का मतलब हो, it is always beneficial. 1-2 साल का हो तो it will always help you if you have a good amount of relevant data and authentic data which is provided by the government itself. ठीक है?
Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. चलो. Shall we move ahead now, guys? Give me yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Chalo. I'm turning on the screen sharing now again. Yeah. So the next leg of chapter is where we'll be discussing the policies, we'll be discussing the orientations for climate change, whatever government has undertaken. So the first part is progress on India's climate action. So in this, you have the National Action Plan for Climate Change, National Action Plan on Climate Change. So this has been launched since 2008. So you are having total 1, 2,
उज्जवल
3.
क्लास कर रही है ये पॉज नहीं
Please,
होगी
please mute yourself. Who is speaking? Okay, yeah. So you have total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 submissions in National Action Plan on Climate Change. So this has been consistent from the time I have been reading surveys. I have started reading surveys from 2014 and 15 onwards. So तब से ये mission ऐसे के ऐसे आपके सर्वे में आ रहे हैं. So this year government has just given you the names. If you pick up the surveys of last year's, so you had detailed discussion on each of these topics. So I will just highlight you which submissions you have to focus on. You don't have to focus on every submission in this. You have to focus on National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. This is very important. So you just mark this up and you just note down that you have to read with regards to this. Okay. Number 2 submission you have to read is National Mission for Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystems. This is very important. Okay. And then National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. This is very important. Okay, so only 3 submissions of NAPCC are important as of today. National Mission on Sustainable Habitat, National Mission for Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystems. You all know the issue of Joshimath, whatever is happening in Uttarakhand right now. Okay, so you are basically constructing infrastructure, putting more impetus on infrastructure in the most seismically active zone of India, unstable zone. So usme ye bahut important aayega. And National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, this is very important. Okay, when we'll discuss the agriculture chapter, I guess वो तो अभी अगले सेशन में होगा, तो इसमें आपको फिर से उसका दिखेगा. Okay, 7.22 bullet is very important because you have the name of the fund that gives money to this. So you just need to remember National Adaptation Fund for Climate Change, a central sector scheme, was initiated in 1516 to support adaptation activities in state and union territories of India that are vulnerable to the adverse effects of climate change. So what is the name of the fund? National Adaptation Fund for Climate Change. So prelims based, one-liner, done and dusted. Okay, done. Then next you have box 8.7.1, India's updated nationally determined contributions. Okay, so you should skip this completely. What you should do, everybody focus on the screen very properly. You should go to Ministry of New and Renewable Energy website. I will go to that website and I will tell you. And wahan pe you have a column wherein you have the latest data, of budget. Sorry, we have the latest data of whatever renewable energy we are generating as of today. So just before your prelims and just before your mains, 1 week पहले वो डाटा आप वहां से ले लेना. I'm again reiterating, you go to Ministry of New and Renewable Energy website and there you have a column of data. I will go to the website over there and just 1 week before your prelims or 1 week before your mains, you can download that data and read out it. So I'm going to the website now. So Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, I'm going to their website. Okay, so can you see initiatives and achievements, everybody? Please give me yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these keep on changing. Government keeps on updating this. I don't know when, but they keep on updating this fairly regularly. So just 1 week before your prelims and 1 week before your mains, you should do this. So as of today, the solar capacity in the last 7.5 years has gone from 2.6 to 46 gigawatt. Okay, stupendous. World's largest renewable energy expansion program, 175 gigawatt till 2022. Renewable energy has a share of 26.53 in the total installation generation capacity in India. India is now at 4th global position for overall installed renewable energy. Okay. The renewable energy installed capacity has increased to 86% in last 7.6 years. Around 300% की growth है हमारी. This is very, very important. Everybody's comfortable with this, and highest ever wind capacity addition of 5.5 gigawatt in 2016 and 17. Record low of solar tariff, rupees 1.99 per unit achieved already. तो केजरीवाल जी का जो 200 यूनिट तक फ्री दे रहे कुछ काम का नहीं है, सोलार लगा लो, शांत बैठो. Everybody is comfortable? So please remember, you will go to this website 1 week before your prelims and 1 week before your mains to have the latest data. Will everybody remember this? Shall I move ahead? Give me yes, no, guys. Yeah, चलो.
Yes,
एंड
sir.
इंडिया के INDCs अभी आपको कोई नहीं पूछेगा बिकॉज ऑलरेडी बहुत बार पूछ चुके हैं, सो स्कीप दोस. Comfortable? Yeah. Now, state of forest and tree cover. So don't do this from survey. You directly go to Ministry of Forest and Climate Change. You do state of forest report, the latest one, and from that you do statistical memorization of three things. You do statistical memorization of number one, what is the total tree cover of India? What is the total tree cover of India? State of forest report, the latest one. Total tree cover कितना है इंडिया का? उसके बाद what is the total tree cover of VDF? Very dense forest, moderately dense forest, and open forest. I'm again reiterating. From state of forest report, you have to do the total tree cover of India. You have to do the sector-wise distribution of very dense forest, moderately dense forest, and open forest. Is everybody comfortable? And lastly, you have to do state analysis. Okay, कौन से state में सबसे ज्यादा है? So as of today, can anybody guess which state has got the highest density of very dense forest? Yeah, it's Arunachal Pradesh. Which state has got the highest MDF and OF in India? It's Madhya Pradesh. It's Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so Madhya Pradesh mimics the savanna kind of topography in Africa. So you have savanna kind of topography which is mimicked from Africa to India in Madhya Pradesh. So it is called as parkland landscape topography. So please do that. Okay. Yeah. Now in this you have to remember, see 7.25 bullet, आपको खाली schemes के याद रखने हैं. Okay. What are the schemes for forests? What are the schemes for improvement of forest? ये schemes आपको नाम बस याद रखने हैं. Schemes like Green India Mission, Compensatory Afforestation Fund Management and Planning Authority, National Afforestation Program, Green Highway Policy, and Policy for Enhancement of Urban Greens, National Agroforestry Policy, and Submission on Agroforestry. These are some of the important initiatives which government has taken for improvement of tree cover in India. So please remember these schemes. Okay, improvement of tree cover in India. As a policy-based target, we should have 33% of India's land under tree cover, under forest. So 33% of land should be under forests. So for that, what schemes government has undertaken? You just remember these, that's it. Okay, chalo. Now, prevention of ecosystems, a critical adaptation action. This is very, very important. Okay. In this bullet number 7.29. Okay. Mangroves and coastal wetlands form the first line of defense for coastal communities against increased storm surges. This is very important. Flooding and hurricanes. So why are mangroves important? Why? Because they form the first line of defense for storm surges. Whenever you have a tropical cyclone, so you have storm surge wherein the water from the oceans is pumped heavily during the passage of tropical cyclone onto the coastal lands. So storm surge is very, very deadly. You have flooding and you have hurricanes. As per the recent study, certain mangrove species in Chilika and Sundarbans along the east coast and Dwarka and Porbandar along the west coast of India are likely to reduce and shift landwards by 2070 due to decline in suitable habitats in response to precipitation and sea level changes. Hence, government has brought in Misty scheme this year. क्योंकि इसको रोकना है. The mangroves are moving landwards. They should not move landwards. They should form the first coastal land defense between the seas and the lands. So the National Coastal Mission on Conservation and Management of Mangroves and Coral Reefs is being implemented. Regulatory measures are implemented through CRZ under the Environment Protection Act, WPA, IFA Act, and the Biological Diversity Act. As per Indian State of Forest Report 2021, mangrove cover in India has increased by 364 square kilometers in 2021 as compared to 2013. So please remember guys, mangroves आपको बहुत अच्छे से करना है this year. Okay. Mangroves should be your major area of impetus this year. Okay. What are mangroves? Okay. So mangroves are basically those kind of trees, those kind of plants which are. Can anybody tell me what are mangroves?
So mangrove forest are those type of forest in which plants roots are partially in water and partially in soil.
What are those roots called?
So
What are those?
nemophores.
Those roots are called as nomatophores.
Nomatophores.
Okay, those roots are called as nomatophores. Okay, P is silent in the spelling.
Yes, P is silent.
Okay, those roots are called as nomatophores / floating roots.
Yes.
/ floating roots.
Those come out for the oxygens.
Okay, yeah. And these roots do the most important function of mangrove ecosystem. I'm again reiterating, these roots do the most important function of mangrove ecosystem, that is the detoxification of water. Because water muddy hota hai, muddy water ko filter karne ka kaam, they do this. So you have detoxification / desilting. Okay, these roots do this most important function. Hence, mangrove protection is very, very important. Okay, जो national animal है India का, the Royal Bengal tiger. Okay, it's a phylum of Panthera tigris. It is primarily found in Sundarbans. Okay, and please remember, the Sundari wood. The Sundari wood is the hardest. The Sundari wood is the hardest hardwood find anywhere in the world. उससे ज्यादा हार्डेस्ट वुड पूरे दुनिया में आपको कहीं नहीं मिलता है. ओके, सुंदरी हार्डवुड इज वेरी वेरी फेमस. एंड जो गोरे लोग आए थे इंडिया में, ब्रिटिशर्स आए थे इंडिया में, उन्होंने इसको ही यूज किया था फॉर मेकिंग अप ऑफ रेलवे कोचेस. Okay, Sundari hardwood is very, very important. Everybody is comfortable with this? Okay, so please see a map of mangrove forest wherever you find mangrove forest in India. That is very important. Government का क्या क्या program है वो important है. What is the ecosystem functions of mangroves, that are very important. So ecosystem functions, policy. I will write it down. Wait, I will write it down somewhere so that you don't get confused. आपको क्या क्या target करना है in this year. So first of all, you have to see what is the ecosystem function. What is the ecosystem function of mangroves? What is the ecosystem function of mangroves? Okay, number 2, you have to see the spatial spread of mangroves. The spatial spread of mangroves. Number 3, you have to see policy orientation for mangroves. Policy orientation for mangroves. And number 4, and you have number 4, you have to see vulnerability. Vulnerability / you will also have to see the the word I'm missing. Just wait a bit, guys. /threats to mangroves. /threats to mangroves. Please mute yourself. जिसका mic on है, please mute yourself. Whose mic is on? Please mute yourself. So, are you all comfortable? What 4 areas you have to focus this year?
Yes, sir.
See, guys, this is how you should prepare for civil services. Merely opening up Shankar IAS, merely opening up GC-Leon, वो पढ़ के फायदा नहीं है. You have to understand where is the impetus of this year. Okay, chalo. Let's move ahead. Yeah. Now, green hydrogen, and a critical source of alternate energy. Okay. Skip this completely from the survey. Keep this completely from the survey. Anybody remembers the article which I've shared on the group for green hydrogen policy? Anybody? I shared that it was a 5-star article.
Yes, sir.
Anybody
I remembered.
remembers that
National
article?
Yes, sir.
hydrogen.
Yeah, can anybody remember the name, the number of that article? Who can tell me the number of the article? I will. No, don't see in your books now. अभी phone पे मत देखो. Just tell me, can anybody remember the number of the article? How many summarization articles I have given up till now? Has anybody kept the count?
No, sir. We haven't got any in our group.
No, I have marked it. Okay, so I have given the PDF. Yeah.
सर वो उसमें था सर, वो जो आपने एक साथ शेयर किया था उसमें था एक ग्रीन.
Okay. पहले का मैंने उसमें दिया होगा. Okay, so the article number is 115. It's a very important article. I will flag it on the group today. Okay, I will flag it on the group so that everyone has that. So you will do this from the gist. You will do this from the text and context page of Hindu. Text and context page of Hindu. ओके सो आपके सर्वे पे लिख लो ये आपको कहां से करना है, टेक्स्ट एंड कंटेक्स्ट पेज ऑफ हिंदू. ओके, दैट वन आर्टिकल इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, समराइज कर लो, कॉपी में नोट्स बना लो, डन एंड डस्टेड. ओके, सो स्किप दिस कंप्लीटली, डोंट नीड टू डू दैट. ओके, नाउ डायरेक्टली कम टू बॉक्स नंबर 8.2. Directly come to box number 8.2. I have given you 2000% guarantee कि इसमें से क्वेश्चन आएगा या नहीं आएगा. Okay. Critical minerals key to green transition. Okay. ये पूरे बॉक्स को आपको कॉपी में समराइज करना है. ऐसा का ऐसा लैंग्वेज. If you use the same language, no worries. Even if you use the same language, no worries. Satish, you are asking no importance of river rejuvenation. Satish, नमामि गंगे प्रोग्राम जो है वो अभी काफी पुराना प्रोग्राम हो चुका है. So targeting of that program is not that important per se. So if any new article of any new outlay comes from that, we will discuss it. But otherwise, अभी river rejuvenation पे आप उतना देखो मत. Any other difficulty? I'm seeing the chats right now. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, on which page is it? I'm not getting it.
Which page? Okay.
Yes,
the page number is 229.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this box is very important. I'm starting with it. The shift to clean energy is set to drive huge increase in requirements for critical minerals. This is because the energy system powered by clean energy technologies differs profoundly from the one fueled by traditional hydrocarbon sources. What are the minerals? Cobalt, copper, lithium, nickel, and rare earth elements are critical for producing electric vehicles and batteries and harnessing solar power and wind energy. Solar photovoltaic plants, wind farms, and electric vehicles are generally require more minerals than their fossil fuel-based counterparts. A typical electric car requires 6 times the mineral inputs of conventional cars, and an onshore wind farm requires 9 times more minerals resources than a gas-powered plant. Use these statistics to quote everywhere in your answers. A typical electric car requires how much amount of minerals? 6 times more. A typical wind energy plant requires how much more minerals? 9 times more minerals. Is everybody comfortable with this? Okay. As the future is solar, as the future is wind energy, so solar and wind energy are those continuous source of energy. I'm stopping the screen sharing for a moment. This is very important. Focus on me, everybody. Okay, you can even chat with me. Okay, I can see Uma, I can see Piyush, and I can see Nagmani. I can also see Aarti. You tell me, are solar and wind energy continuous source of energy?
No, sir, intermittent source.
No, they are intermittent sources. So you require what for these sources? You require storage. You will require battery storage for this.
Yes.
So in this year's budget, government has gone for reducing custom duties for the components which are required for manufacturing of batteries. Are you all comfortable what I'm trying to say? जो कस्टम ड्यूटी गवर्नमेंट ने कम की है वो किसके लिए कम की है? फॉर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ इक्विपमेंट्स, फॉर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ कंपोनेंट्स which are required in photovoltaic batteries. And number two, government has gone for viability gap funding in battery manufacturing and battery storage. Government has gone for viability gap funding in producing of battery storage. Why? Because solar and wind energy are intermittent sources. So you require good amount of battery storage capacity for that. Is everybody comfortable with this? Okay. So देखो ऐसे ही आपको सर्वे एंड बजट को इंटरलिंक करना है. Okay. Then next point. The types of mineral used vary by technology. Lithium, nickel, cobalt, manganese, graphite are crucial to battery performances, longevity, and energy density. I'm again reiterating. Lithium, nickel, cobalt, manganese, and graphite are crucial to battery performance, battery longevity, and battery energy density. Is everybody listening to me, guys? Please let me know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I will be explaining you. Do you require the explanation of this point? What is the battery performance, battery longevity, and energy density? Or are you all comfortable with these three parameters? It's up to you. Should I explain you these parameters?
Yes, sir.
No,
Density
sir.
one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will explain you in very short. Okay. Okay. Can everybody see my desktop screen? Please give me yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So see, this is my laptop's battery. Okay. So my battery performance, my battery longevity, and my battery's energy density. So what is the original max of this battery? Original max means मेरी battery की सबसे ज़्यादा energy density कब थी? When it was manufactured. So my battery's energy original max was 8694 milliampere hour. So this is my battery's energy density at manufacturing. So this is a lithium ion battery. So with charge cycles, इसकी capacity क्या हो जाएगी? कम होते जाएगी. So my current max is less than my original max. So see my current max कितना है? 8769 milliampere hour because I have turned on my charging. So right now my battery's health is more than 100%. Why? Because I have turned on my charging. So if my current max starts to degrade than my original max, my battery's longevity, it starts to decline. जैसे आपकी फोन की बैटरी है, so after 1 year you have to charge your phone more. Why? Because आपके फोन की एनर्जी डेंसिटी, आपके फोन की बैटरी लॉन्गेटिविटी क्या होती जाती है? कम होते जाती है. Is everybody comfortable with this? Please give me yes, no. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
here
sir.
you can see the ampere and the voltage of the battery. So the typical voltage of the battery should be around 12 volts. But फिलहाल मेरे बैटरी कितने वोल्ट पे काम करी? It is working at 11.2 volts. With age, this volt will decrease. With age, this volt will decrease. तो अगर बैटरी का वोल्टेज कम हो रहा है, अगर आपके बॉडी की एनर्जी धीरे धीरे कम होते जा रही है, if your body's energy is slowly declining, this means what? When you will require peak energy, will your body function most? No. So similarly, when you will open up bigger files in your copy, when you will open up bigger files in your laptop, when you will open up bigger photos and videos in your smartphones, so your smartphones, your laptops will start lagging. होता है ना आपके फोन में कि आप बड़ी फाइल खोलते हो तो आपका फोन धीरे धीरे काम करने लगता है. Why? Because your battery is not able to pump the highest amount of voltage to the processor. प्रोसेसर को आपको करंट सप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, बैटरी उतना करंट सप्लाई कर नहीं सकती है. व्हाई? बिकॉज दिस वोल्टेज एंड दिस एम्पियर रेटिंग ऑफ द बैटरी स्टार्ट टू डिक्लाइन विथ एज. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज बैटरी परफॉर्मेंस. Is everybody comfortable with this? So you have three parameters to batteries: battery longevity, battery performance, and energy density. Please don't forget this. मेंस में क्वेश्चन आएगा, कुछ तो अलग तिगड़म लिख के आओगे आप लोग, आपके मार्क्स जाएंगे, आपको ऑल इंडिया रैंक जाएगा. हमको नुकसान होगा, ठीक है, बिकॉज हम तो आपको ऑल इंडिया रैंक के लिए बैठे हैं यहाँ पे, ठीक है. So please don't do this. So please remember the three parameters of battery: energy density, you have battery longevity, and you have battery performance. Okay. Rare earth minerals are essential for permanent magnets that are vital for wind turbines and electric vehicle motors. Electricity networks need a huge amount of copper and aluminium, while copper being a cornerstone for electricity related technologies. आपके घर में जो वायरिंग है पूरी कॉपर वायरिंग है, आपके लैपटॉप में जो भी पीसीबी की सोल्डरिंग की गई है सारी सोल्डरिंग कॉपर से ही की गई है. So please remember this, that rare earth elements are essential for permanent magnets that are vital for wind turbines and electric motors. Electric networks need a huge amount of copper and aluminium, with copper being the cornerstone for all electric-related technologies. Then, while the demand for critical minerals is set to increase because of global preference and emphasis towards the renewable energy, the global supply chain of critical minerals is highly concentrated and is unevenly distributed. The skewed distribution of resource poses a sharp supply risk in the face of enhanced demand. So what's your homework for today? Your homework for today is you have to see the distribution. You have to see the distribution of rare earth elements and critical minerals. Rare earth elements and critical minerals. 3 regions बहुत important है. 3 regions are very, very important with regards to this. First region is Katinga Plateau. Okay, Katunga Plateau of Africa. Number 2, you have the Sayan Mountains of Russia. You have the Sayan Mountains of Russia. You have the Sayan Mountains of Russia. And number 3, you have the Kimberley region of Australia. ठीक है, बाकी भी रीजन्स आप देखोगे, बट अब ये 3 रीजन्स को अच्छे से फोकस करोगे. कटुंगा प्लेटू ऑफ अफ्रीका, the Sayan Mountains of Russia, Western Sayan and Eastern Sayan ranges of Russia, and lastly number 3, Kimberley region of Australia. Okay, Sayan Mountains देखोगे तो वहां पे और 2 mountain ranges है. You have Yablonov range. Sorry, I'm writing the spellings properly. So first range is Yablonov range and Stabnolov range. Yablonov and Stabnolov range of Russia. Okay, there is a city called as Ulan-Ude, very, very important city for manufacturing of uranium deposits in the world. Okay, सबसे ज्यादा निकेल, सबसे ज्यादा यूरेनियम वहीं से आता है वर्ल्ड का. So you have Yablonov, Stablonow and Sayan Mountains of Russia. Sayan Mountains के 2 parts है. You have Western Sayan and you have Eastern Sayan. Please do it very properly. Is everybody comfortable with this? Please give me yes, no, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. देखो क्वेश्चन आएगा, गलत करके आओगे फिर बोलना मत कि सर पता नहीं था. I'm already giving you my 2000% guarantee. Please don't commit mistakes that you are not doing this. Okay. Now, this paragraph, a carefully crafted multidimensional mineral policy. Can you see this paragraph, everyone? Okay. Name this paragraph as policy orientation. Name this paragraph as policy orientation. Name this paragraph as policy orientation. ऐसा का ऐसा कॉपी में लिख लो. Word to word, word by word basis. What should be the policy orientation for rare earth minerals and critical minerals? Comfortable, everybody? Yeah. And number 3, you have, this is the governmental initiatives. Next paragraph, Ministry of Mines has created a joint venture company, namely Khanij Videsh India Limited, काबिल. देखो वर्ड आ जाएगा प्रीलिम्स में काबिल. आप बोलोगे कि यूपीएससी फिलोसफी पूछने लगी प्रीलिम्स में, बट काबिल इज खनिज विदेश इंडिया लिमिटेड. Okay, which is participating interest of NALCO, National Aluminium Company Limited, HCL, and MECL. Kabil is mandated to identify and acquire overseas mineral assets of critical and strategic nature, such as lithium and cobalt. Further, Ministry of Mines, Government of India, and Department of Industry, Science and Energy and Resources (DISR), Government of Australia has signed an MOU for cooperation in field of mining and processing of critical and strategic minerals. So Australia is our strategic partner. So आपको ये पढ़ना पड़ेगा. Further, Kabil has also signed a detailed MOU with collaborative framework with Critical Minerals Facilitation Officer under DISR to identify lithium, cobalt mineral assets for final joint investments, discussions, and acquisition of these assets in Australia, catering to the critical and strategic ecosystem of both the countries. So Indo-Australia relations, Kabil should be quoted because that should be the future. So Indo-Australian relations, Indo-Aussie relations, Kabil needs to be quoted. Is everybody comfortable with this? Okay, sure. So now, LT leads policy, long-term emissions development strategy. You just do what? You just do the first line of every bullet. So what are the focus areas of leads? Number one is focus on rational utilization of national resources. Number two encompasses the objectives of national hydrogen policy. Number third, increased use of biofuels, ethanol blending in petrol. Number fourth, climate resilient urban development will be driven by smart cities mission, including integrated planning of cities for mainstreaming adaptation and enhancing energy and resource efficiency, effective green building codes, and development in innovative solid and liquid waste management. So these 4 areas of focus of LT leads. This is very, very important. Okay. So mark this up, the 4 areas of focus for LT leads. Summarize in your copy, vomit in your mains. That's it. उससे ज्यादा पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. Be smart. Okay. And this line is very important. So you can use this as a crux line for LT leads. LT leads is driven by the vision of lifestyle for environment, which calls for worldwide paradigm shift from mindlessness and destructive consumption to mindful and deliberate utilization. Here, the transition to low carbon development pathway will entail costs. Okay, that is the crux of LT leads. So, one line definition of LT leads. What is LT leads? Then what are the focus parameters of LT leads? And LT leads किसके साथ काम करता है? With the vision of life. That's it. 1 page to 1.5 page write up, done. Your answer is done and dusted. Okay. Then finance for sustainable development. You just give a plain read to bullet number 7.46 green bonds. Just read करो, कोई पूछेगा नहीं आपको. एक बार just पढ़ लो, पढ़ के छोड़ दो. Okay, just read this once. Okay, you should know. आएगा तो prelims में आएगा, mains में नहीं आएगा. Okay, then summarize bullet 7.47. What are sovereign green bonds? This is important. ये इंडिया का है. So sovereign green bonds पढ़ लेना. And bullet number 7.48. A Green Finance Working Committee has also been set up to oversee and validate key decisions on issuance of sovereign green bonds. The committee has mandated to select the projects for allocation of proceeds, do a time-bound review of allocation, and carry out annual reporting along with impact assessments of the proceeds. बस ये 2-3 चीजें पढ़ लेना. That's it. Then now directly. Yeah. Now come to page number 234, major discussions at COP27. Major discussions at COP27. Okay. Focus on me for a moment. See towards me for a moment, everyone. See, COP27 has failed completely. Okay, it has failed completely. जो भी टारगेट्स अचीव करने थे वो कुछ हुए नहीं. Okay, only the Western democracies कुछ ना कुछ उन्होंने बोला, कुछ ना कुछ किया, कुछ ना कुछ एक joint commute आया. You won't believe, guys, that the joint commute of COP27 came at 4 a.m. in the morning. 4 बजे आखिरी दिन था, दिन एक्सटेंड किया गया कि कम्यूट बंद नहीं रहा है. रात को 4 बजे they did a press conference and said something. So COP27 was a utter failure. Okay. Why? Because in the end, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Kuwait, they stepped in. उन्होंने कहा कि हम लोग ये होने नहीं दे सकते. Okay. But the only one positive of COP27 which happened in Egypt. Guys, are you all listening to me? जहां से I'm thinking that question might come. जहां से I think question might come. Okay. It is loss and damage fund. It is loss and damage fund. Okay. I'm highlighting to everyone on the chat also, those who are not like I cannot see loss and damage fund.
Sir, that fund
Okay.
was initially for the small countries ना, वो जो डूब जाएंगे, that Micronesian है
See,
वो वाले.
I'm highlighting. Nagmani, just wait a moment. See, from last 30 years, the Association of Small Island States, they have been reiterating that even just 0.1 meter rise in sea level, just 1.1 meter rise in sea level, all of the oceanic countries will submerge. All of the oceanic countries. Now, what are oceanic countries? So, oceanic countries is a group of island. It is a group of island countries to the east of Australia and New Zealand. I'm turning on my map. See, everyone can see the map. I will just highlight you the what are the countries of Australia and Oceania in just 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. Can everybody see the map? Please give me yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, see, there are 3 island groups in the Association of Small Island States. So, the Association of Small Island States is called as Australia and Oceania. So, it includes a group of total 4 islands. Number first, you have that is of Australia. Australia सबसे पहले आता है. Number 2, you have, okay, just wait a bit. Number 2, you have is New Zealand. So number first is Australia. Number 2 is New Zealand. Then you have 3 groups in Pacific. You have 3 groups in Pacific. The first group is called as Micronesia. The second group is called as Melanesia. And the third group is called as Polynesia. Micronesia, Melanesia, and Polynesia. So this together, they are called as Australia and Oceania. They are called as Australia and Oceania. So Australia and Oceania will include what? Number 1, they will include Australia and New Zealand. Number 2, they will include the Federation of Micronesia, Melanesia, and Polynesia. So in this, you are having series of small island nations. Okay. So if you can see over here, one of the main component of Melanesia is Fiji and Samoa. Okay. You won't believe, guys, 60% of the Fiji population is Indian. 60% of the Fiji population is Indian. Hence, President Namnath Govind, the first trip of President Namnath Govind as soon as he got elected was to this island group, Fiji. रामनाथ गोविंद जी यहाँ पे गए थे फीजी में. 60% फीजी में हमारे इंडियंस हैं. ठीक है. So these small island states, what do they say? That even if just 0.1 meter of sea level rise happens, majority of our islands will submerge. So from last 30 years, they were saying that climate change is a reality, sir. Climate change हो चुका है. So have some fund for us. कुछ हमें funds दो. ठीक है, ताकि जो लॉस हुआ है उसको हम लोग मिटिगेट कर सके, उसके साथ हम लोग अडेप्ट कर सके. तो इन डेस्परेट टाइम्स एक लीडर लगता है आप सबको. ओके. सो दिस ईयर देयर वाज अ लेडी, एंड दैट लेडी, आर यू आर लिसनिंग टू मी, स्पेशली द गर्ल्स? Are all the girls listening to me? Please give me yes,
Yes,
no.
sir.
This should be a
Yes,
proud moment.
Yes,
This should
sir.
be a very pride moment for all
yes,
of
sir.
you. And you can quote this example in ethics. You can quote this example in ethics. एथिक्स में आपका क्लाइमेट जस्टिस आएगा, एथिक्स में आपका फॉरेन डिप्लोमेसी आएगा. आप ये एथिक्स में आप ये एग्जांपल कोट कर सकते हो. One singular lady, she fought with the rest of the world. She fought with the global West, Canada, USA, Europe, fighting with all these big democracies, fighting with all these big countries. It's not small. So that lady's name is Sherry Rahman. That lady's name is Sherry Rahman. Okay, please remember this name, guys. You can quote this name in ethics. You can quote this name anywhere in essays in your answers. She is the climate change minister of Pakistan. She is the climate change minister of Pakistan. That lady is responsible for leading the Association of Small Island States, AOSIS, Association of Small Island States. She led this commission, and it was because of her diplomatic efforts that this year a historic loss and damage fund was being allocated of $100 billion. ये हुआ नहीं था आज तक. ये एक सिंगल लेडी थी जिसने ये फंड उठाया, ये मुद्दा उठाया, and she was victorious in her speech that do something. So please quote this, and I have shared on the group also. आपका loss and damage का article भी है, and if you have to summarize COP27, please summarize loss and damage fund. Is everybody comfortable with this? Girls, did you get the name Sherry Rahman?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Very, very influential lady. Just listen to her speech, you will be highly motivated. Okay, and you can quote this everywhere in your example. Just wait a bit, I lost the file. I'm just opening it up. Yeah. So what you will remember in COP27? COP27, you will only remember loss and damage fund. That is very, very important. Is everybody comfortable with this? Rest. Just read 7.57. Just read, okay? Don't have to remember. Just read 7.58. That's it. 7.57 and 7.58. उससे ज़्यादा आपको COP27 ध्यान में रखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, because it was a historical failure. Okay. Then, in the International Solar Alliance, very much in news. You all know this. I guess most of you must be knowing what is International Solar Alliance. So just read of 7.62, 7.63. ये एक बार पढ़ लेना. That is enough. Okay. Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. This is very important. CDRI. So just remember 7.64. One line definition. One line definition. Okay, you have to quote this in your answers. So just one line definition of CDRI will be important. Okay, it is a global partnership of national governments, UN agencies and programs, multilateral development banks and financing mechanisms, the private sector and academic knowledge and institution. It aims to promote resilience of infrastructure systems to climate and disaster risk, thereby ensuring sustainable development. बस इतना ही आपको ध्यान में रखना है, बाकी और कुछ आपको ध्यान में नहीं रखना है. CDRI. Okay, then lead IT, forget, don't study, it will never be asked. Okay, then issues related to environmental issues. This is very, 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 very important. Okay, again, 2000% guarantee you will be asked in prelims as well as in main. Okay, COP15, that happened in Toronto. I guess it happened in Montreal, Canada में. तो वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होगी, तो इसको आपको बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ना है. 7.69 bullet. India ranks 8th in the world and 4th in Asia among the mega diverse countries in the world. India is not diverse. India is mega diverse. It is also rich in flora and fauna. 62% of recorded amphibian species are endemic to India. Guys, this is staggering figure. Okay, 62% of recorded amphibian species is endemic to India, which is majorly found where? The favorite part of UPSC. So UPSC सबसे ज्यादा questions कहाँ से पूछेगा? Western Ghats से. Every day I'm sharing articles, not every day, sorry, I will recorrect myself. The day which I find significant, I'm sharing my articles. Majority of the articles of biodiversity are from Western Ghats. Now you know the importance of it. 62% of the species of Western Ghats are endemic to India, and of the global amphibian species, 62% are found only in India. Okay, globally, India holds the 8th position for origin and diversity of croplands. It has more than 300 wild ancestors and close relatives of cultivated plants naturally. Notably, around 9,500 plant species are used as medicine in indigenous health practices. Moreover, local indigenous people use more than 3,900 plants as food, fiber, fodder, insecticides, pesticides, gums, resins, dyes, perfumes, and timber. See, guys, you don't have to remember these figures. आपको क्या remember करना है? You have to remember this as minor forest produce. You have to remember this as minor forest produce. Okay, minor produce को आप किसके साथ interlink करोगे? You will interlink minor forest produce with FRA, Forest Rights Act. You will interlink with Forest Rights Act. You will interlink it with Biodiversity Act. You will interlink it with Biodiversity Act. You will interlink it with Wildlife Protection Act. I recently shared an article, the mapping of ESZ, ecologically sustainable zone, protected areas का एक article मैंने share किया था group पे. So you have discussion of Forest Right Act. So please do interlinking like this. Okay, what is minor forest produce? उसका FRA Act से क्या लेना देना है? Are the tribes being given those rights? Are the tribes being allocated the forest lands or not? Please do that. Okay. Then 7.70, don't have to remember, just last line. The 15th meeting of Conference of Parties of COP15 to Convention on Biodiversity, CBD, took place December in Montreal, Canada. Key outcomes include. So you will remember outcome number 1. You will remember outcome number 2. You will remember outcome number 3. Outcome number 4, outcome number 5, and outcome number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Is everybody comfortable with this? Give me a no. Guys, are you all comfortable?
Yes, sir.
अरे थक गए क्या इतने जल्दी? Don't इतने जल्दी थकना मना है भाई. सिविल सर्वेंट एस्पिरेंट्स हो, so थकना मना है. जरूरी भी है बट मना भी है. Okay, चलो let's move ahead. Yeah. Paragraph number 7.71. It is again important. Like, in conformity with the spirit of CBD, India's enacted Biological Diversity Act 2002. The Act mandates. So, what does the Biological Diversity Act mandates? This is important. So, please summarize this. Mandate of Biological Diversity Act. And 7.72, prelims based question. India and Nepal have signed a memorandum of understanding in August 2022 on biodiversity conservation to strengthen and enhance coordination, cooperation in the field of forest and wildlife. Okay, that's it. Project Cheetah, you can skip, no need to do that. Wildlife protection conservation, no need to do that. Okay, now 7.76, page number, it is page number 239. Okay, here you have the components of Wildlife Protection Act. The components of Wildlife Protection Act of WPA. Okay, you remember these components for prelims. You remember these components for prelims. In mains, कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Components of WPA, you remember this exclusively for prelims. Comfortable, everybody? Yeah. Then solid waste management, plastic, you don't know that. Battery waste management is very important. Battery waste management is very important. Summarize completely. Okay, I'm directly writing summarize. ऐसा का ऐसा copy में summarize कर लेना. Okay, complete 7.82 and 7.81 bullet. Then e-waste management. E-waste management, summarize bullet number 1, bullet number 4, 5, and 6. E-waste management, first line, the e-waste management rules, bullet number 1, bullet number 4, 5, and 6. Okay. It's up to you. Summarize. Battery waste management, I've written summarize. Summarize means you have to write this in copy. E-waste management, you can just give a read also. You don't need to summarize. Okay. Battery waste management, important topic है because government बहुत improvement कर रही है battery storage capacity पे. So it becomes highly important for us to do that. Okay, everyone? Yeah? Chalo. So here I finish up with the chapter number 7 of survey. The next meeting, I will try to include chapter number 8, agriculture. Agriculture 8 is fairly small, and I will try to include chapter number 6, the social sector of the survey. Is everybody appreciating this? Okay.
Yes,
किसी
sir.
को कोई difficulty है? Anybody any difficulty? Ask me.
Sir, एक question है.
Hello?
Sir,
Is anybody having any difficulty? Yeah, please ask.
Sir, एक question.
Your voice is not audible. Whoever is speaking with me?
Sir, it's Anindya here.
Okay, yeah.
Sir, basically, I am from that prelims group where 10,000 questions is a part.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
we got the link of this meeting shared there. So
Okay,
I saw the message at 3:10 and at that point of time I joined the meeting. So when you
okay.
were from point of time when you were sharing about some articles, I'm
Yeah.
not knowing that in which group are you actually sharing
Okay,
your
okay. With regards to that, we'll update you. We'll update you. Don't worry. Okay.
So is there any separate group in which you are
Yeah. We will update you. We will update you. Don't worry. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Anybody apart from this? Anybody any difficulty?
Sir, regarding the notes or regarding this, the things that you have explained.
Yeah.
Regarding notes, I have something to
Yeah,
ask,
please
sir.
ask. Please ask.
But everything was crystal clear, and I appreciate your sir great teaching. मजा आ गया sir.
Thank you. नहीं, notes के बारे में पूछो.
ठीक है सर. There are many of some points sir. मतलब कभी कुछ तो आपने explain भी कर दिया है. मैंने pre बना के रख दिया था. तो सर पहला है कि like what should I make in note? Like there are a lot of things. वैसे तो मैंने सर अभी तक आपने जितना दे दिया सब तो मैंने लिख दिया बना दिया है. ठीक है सर. तो उसमें येलो ग्रीन और रेड आपने सिग्निफिकेंस बताया है. बट कभी क्या होता है सर, लेट मी फिनिश इट, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा फुल व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. कि जो येलो पॉइंट पे रहता है यू जस्ट से दैट समराइज इट, बट पॉइंट्स आर सो मच गुड दैट आई कांट, मतलब मेरा कंसेंट में अलाउ नहीं करता है कि छोड़ दूं, तो वो पूरा बन जाता है बड़ा. एंड द लैंग्वेज इज समटाइम्स आल्सो वेरी फ्लावरी कि वो छोड़ने का मन नहीं करता है. तो क्या पकड़े क्या छोड़े सर?
ओके, तो दिल है कि मानता नहीं है, दिक्कत हो जाती है आप लोगों की.
राइट सर.
Okay. So see guys, in civil services if you start making notes of everything, तो आपकी हाइट है एवरेज हाइट 5'5", आपकी नोट्स की हाइट चले जाएगी 50 फीट 5. ठीक है, 55 आपकी हाइट चले जाएगी आपकी नोट्स की. if you start making notes of everything. See, in civil services, please remember why I am telling you to summarize, why I am telling you to make notes, because writing once equals reading thrice. In the end, your notes should be over here. So it's a game of time. Once time progresses, once you do this for 6-7 months, you automatically start remembering the points, whatever you have read in the paper. Okay. You will have to blindly trust me with this. I cannot say anything more than this. You will have to blindly trust me with this, that in civil services, you need to remember whatever is written in the paper. And the only point is when you practice papers for 6-7 months continuously. For some of you, it will be 2 months. For some of you, it will be 3 months. For some of you will be 5 months. For people like me, it was 1 year. I took 1 year to completely actually understand what Hindu is trying to say and to remember the point. So हर एक के लिए pedestal अलग अलग होगा, but you have to bear the brunt of it. That is my simple answer. तो अगर आपका दिल है कि मान नहीं रहा है तो मत मानो, लिख दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. एक दिन ऐसा होगा कि दिल मानने लगेगा कि अरे छोड़ दो, इतना तो आता है हमें. That's
Okay,
it.
sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other difficulty? Those who are here, I can see some of the parties. Like, let me turn to the gallery view. Okay. Around, I am seeing 41 students. Pooja, Kshitij, Geet, Anusha. You have, अच्छा, किसी ने single नाम भी रखा है. NSU, Arti, Hari. Are you all guys comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
all guys comfortable with this outlook?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, what I'm saying, you have to do this only once in your lifetime. जो आज हम लोग कर रहे हैं, I will just discuss 4 or 5 chapters of the survey max. Rest, जिससे पढ़ के काम हो जाएगा. 5-6 chapters हम लोग discuss करेंगे, जो आपको जिंदगी में बस एक बार पढ़ना है. Next year, you will have this base with you. So next year, you have to directly target the additional information. But एक बार आपको लाइफ में सर्वे पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है, because this is the same language which is replicated in your mains. आपके mains के question. If you don't believe me, guys, what you do is, कल ही notification आया ना आपका, कल ही आपको notification आया है. Just read your preface of survey completely and just read your notification. See, you will find lot of similarity between the language. Because the people who are making that survey and the people who are not actually typing in the notification are the people from Indian Information Service. तो वो एक ही लोग हैं जो ये सारा कुछ ड्राफ्ट करते हैं. So once you are comfortable with the language of the survey, you will automatically feel comfortable with every governmental document, including the mains. So this is very important for one time. Are you all comfortable? So next session, I will be discussing on agriculture and I will be discussing on social sector. Agriculture is fairly small in this year's survey. Social sector is big. So next survey, I will speed up the things. आज थोड़ा मैंने धीरे धीरे लिया because this was our first session. So I took roughly 2.5 hours for discussing of just one chapter. Next time, I will increase my speed. Is everybody comfortable with that?
Sir, for the first 4 chapters of economic survey?
Yeah. For the first 4 chapters, just will be enough. I will tell you how to do that. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, I actually joined a bit late, sir. Last 10 minutes only I attended. Is there any recording available, sir?
Yeah. We will give you the recording. Don't worry.
Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other thing you want to discuss?
Sir, again, few questions, sir. जैसे क्या sir, like you have shared the gist. आपने point highlight कर दिया, you have highlighted the point, but sometimes it happens that it's challenges or it's issue or it's mix of both the things. So sir, समझ में नहीं आता कि what should I under which subheading I should like put those things. I just simply jot out the points and समझ नहीं आता what, और कभी-कभी overlap हो जाता है.
You are getting confused between challenges and issues.
Sir, main issue is that what I'm not understanding is कि like sometimes it's challenges, sometimes it's issues, sometimes it's vulnerabilities, and sometimes it's all jot down together, and I'm confused like कौन सा किसको कहाँ रखें, and it gets messed up.
Okay. So can I discuss this with you now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I will complete the question. Okay. So which language you will prefer, Nagmani, Hindi or English?
Any language, sir, I'm comfortable.
Okay, I will discuss in English primarily so that everyone can understand. Okay. So you are feeling hungry. Is this a challenge or an issue?
Issue.
You are feeling hungry. Is this a challenge or an issue?
Both.
Huh? How is it an issue? You are feeling hungry, but you are not able to access food. Then it becomes a challenge.
Yes, sir.
Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Then it becomes a challenge. So issue is that, okay, you are feeling hungry. Challenge is you are not able to access the food. What is threat? The source of food which you are having is being distributed unequally throughout the world. So that will be your threat. And what will be vulnerability? You are having source. You are having food in front of you. You are having hungry. You are feeling hungry. But vulnerability means the food is perishable. So you have to eat it within 15 minutes, you have to eat it within half an hour. So vulnerability and threats will be primarily resource based. Challenges will be primarily policy oriented based. Issues will be primarily related to accessibility and affordability. Got my point?
Sure, sir. Yeah, got it. Sir, and one more thing, like kabhi kya, like sometimes it happens that GS3 ka topic है, it's interlinked with GS3, GS4, but I have put it in the file that you mentioned earlier in like GS2 mein isko dalo. But after going through the article, it seems that it's interconnected with GS4, GS5, GS3. Just I write it over GS2, GS3 interconnected. So should I practice in that way or like some other way you can guide me?
If you are getting confused between GS1, 2, 3 and 4, 4 is separate. 4 is ethics. 4 is like you have to quote mainly examples over there. Okay. Examples were primarily ethical and moral examples. So if something is being done for the greater good, so that is an ethical example. If something is being done for the greater good of yourself, that is a moral example. Okay, so government taking steps for improving the skilled development of people, it is not an ethical example, it is governmental duty. So you cannot include this in ethics. Are you getting my point? But government doing something for the vulnerable section of the society, like women, children, persons with disabilities, SNSTs, that you can quote in ethics. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So GS1 of your syllabus is primarily history, geography of the world and society. So GS1 will primarily include resource-based dynamics, GS2 will include primarily policy orientation-based dynamics, and GS3 will primarily include technology-based dynamics. Brief overview. Accessibility, affordability,